Hai. Nama? Teluk Intan. Intan. Nama apa? Koyum. Eh? Oh, ya aku dah try. Biasa aku dah try. Hah? Apa?
Dir.
K Ratna. K Ratna.
Dir. DIR.
DIR.
Dir.
Panggil apa? Tir. Daripada mana? Tanah Merah. Ni? Oh, Mamang. Mamang. Okay. So, ni nama apa dah? Puan. Puan. Oh, PK ni.
Oh. Okay. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to my lecturer, Dr. Kamarudin, and my fellow colleague. So today our topic will be pharmacokinetic lah. So this topic will be divided into two sessions. So for today, I will focus more on absorption and distribution. While tomorrow we will discuss regarding metabolism and elimination. So PK-MPD is a basic topic in the pharmacology, where PK is a study what the body does to the drug, which we can see in the name itself. It's a kinetic of the drug, the movement of the drug into the body from the administration, distribution, metabolism, and elimination. So the classical classification of the PK is a ADME lah. But some textbook, especially Stolting, they arrange the arrangement into DME, and A is at the last, because he said that at administration of the IV anesthetic agent mostly through IV route. So administration is not very important for anesthetists, but I stick to the old classification lah, ADME, for easier to remember. So PK has been repeated in the past year multiple times lah, and I will touch a little bit as we go further. So the first A stands for absorptions. So it's defined by the process by which a drug moves from the site of administration to bloodstream. So mainly we want the drug to be into the systemic circulation, but I think not all drug is need to be inserted into the systemic circulation, because some drug we want a local effect, such as the topical eye ointment, LA cream. We want the local effect, and I think for the intrathecal also, it's mainly we want the local effect. We want the nerve block at the local site. We didn't want the drug to go into the systemic circulation that might cause a toxic effect. So absorption is influenced by many factors, such as we can divide into drug and pressure factor. But the important law in this topic is a fixed law of diffusion. So if we know this fixed law of diffusion, we can extrapolate lah. We can goreng lah the question, the answer in the exam. Because I think all of the drug administration is depend on this formula. So this formula stated that the flux of the molecule per unit time is equal to concentration 1 minus concentration 2, the concentration gradient between these two, and then times by area times by solubility of the drug, and then divided by the thickness and molecular weight. So anything at the above is directly proportional, and anything that is below is inversely proportional, which means that if we increase the thickness, it will decrease the flux of the drug, so it will cause the drug to be absorbed more difficult lah. Whereas if we increase the surface area, or solubility or increase the concentration, it will make easier for the absorption to occur. So most of the drug that we give every day is via the passive diffusion. As stated here, it is the commonest route of that occur in the body. But at certain area, like in brain, we cannot have a passive diffusion because in brain we have a tight junction. There is no fenestration there, and also astrocyte bind to the blood vessel.
Skip.
Okay. So mostly in the brain is a primary and
Another
passive
topic.
diffusion lah.
Transport mechanism. Now
Okay.
we are talking about absorption.
So as I said earlier, based on the formula, we can list the factor influencing rate of diffusion, such as molecular size, concentration gradient, ionization, and so on. And most of
Habis dah?
Huh?
Tengok slide depan.
okay. So diffusion and then
Okay,
root of
absorption kan. Absorption.
ni root dia lah,
Okay, lagi.
and bioavailability.
Viability. Lagi.
Availability, ni first pass metabolism,
Metabolism dah.
and then distribution.
Okay, saya soalan lah. Kan. Nama apa dah? Syahira. Describe the factor that affect absorption, drug absorption. 2 kali keluar dalam masa 4 tahun.
Based on any drugs diffused to the body via absorption. Depends on solubility, depends on the solubility of the drugs, ionization of the drugs, and something of the
Okay.
where the next is more easier to
Okay.
and for for patient factors, comorbid, patient has liver failure or patient has heart failure, patient is overloaded. Second, patient physiologically pregnant. So it's pregnant patients.
Ya. Natasha, dapat separuh. Markah dia. Describe the factor that affect drug absorption. Natasha lah cerita. Natasha. Blood flow macam mana? Blood flow? Okay. Lagi? Banyak oh. Dia kalau 10 markah tu dia 5 markah. Just for the factor that affect drug absorption. Biasa majority all jawab nak sampai separuh pun payah. So apa physical chemical properties yang affect absorption?
how the drugs
Drug preparation. Macam mana? Kalau if we talk about fentanyl patch, luar baru ni. Apa faktor yang affect drug absorption in fentanyl patch? Okay, location. Okay. Surface area. Location kat mana location? Beza tak letak dekat tapak kaki dengan tempat upper chest? Apa beza dia?
Stratum corneum thickness.
Thickness. Yeah. So what is the mechanism fentanyl patch absorption? Mechanism dia? Badi you, mechanism? Fentanyl patch. Okay. Okay. Dermis dulu ke epidermis dulu? Dermis. Okay. Terus ke blood. How do you prescribe fentanyl patch? Prescribe. Macam mana? You tulis apa? Berapa dos dia? Mic apa? Per hour. So how can the fentanyl patch can achieve infusion, stable infusion? 25 mic per hour. Why? How? Depo kat mana? Kat mana depo? Patch ada ya, memanglah depo kat patch kan. Kat dalam tu macam mana? Subcutaneous tissue lah, subcutaneous fat. So dia masuk dalam epidermis. Sebelum dermis kan ada subcutaneous fat kan. Dia akan store kat situ. And that release into the bloodstream tu yang akan maintain. Kalau 12 mic per hour. Kalau 25 mic per hour. Mechanism. So apa faktor yang affect the absorption of fentanyl patch? Salah satu dia adalah preparation dia lah. How they prepare fentanyl patch. Keluar baru ni kan. Dia ada matrix dia kan. Matrix cranio. So dia akan absorb slowly. Alright. Itu physicochemical properties lah. Kalau opioid kan. Kalau morphine SR sustain release. Kan. Kalau oxycodone tu oxycodone CR control release. So apa beza dia? Because this factor yang akan affect absorption. Dia akan determine the duration 12 hour. Kan. Kalau oxynom 4 hour je duration dia. Why? Preparation dia. IR, immediate release. So the capsule tu dia akan being prepared. Kan the porous dia. Tu faktor yang affect absorption tu. Kan. And then aspirin dengan cadipyrin. Kan. Aspirin you bagi untuk apa aspirin? Bayung? What is the rule of giving aspirin nowadays? Prophylaxis kan? Antiplatelet. Painkiller we don't give lah nowadays. Kalau painkiller berapa dos? How much dose aspirin? Ada yang bagi dos analgesic untuk prophylaxis. Aspirin 300 mg tu analgesic dose. Kalau antiplatelet berapa bagi? 150 kan, separuh. Tapi apa side effect dia aspirin? Gastric irritation lah. Kan? So, you give daily ni untuk antiplatelet. So, you give daily, what happen to the gastric mucosa? Erosion. So, how to prevent this erosion? You bagi ni untuk prevent MI dengan stroke. Kan? Coated, dia panggil apa? Bila you coated the aspirin, dia panggil apa? Nama ubat sekarang ni. Cardipirin. So, cardipirin is formulated to use for prevention thromboembolic, but it prevent also the side effect gastritis. Cardipirin ni apa? Aspirin plus glycine. Nampak tak? Detail. Dalam exam dia nak detail tau. Aspirin plus glycine. So, dose dia berapa? 75. 100. Cardipirin 100. Okay. But last week, I ada tengok satu, I tak tahulah GP ke, KK ke rasa. Dia prescribe aspirin 300 mg. Saya rasa untuk analgesic. Terkejut. Tak pernah tengok orang prescribe aspirin for analgesics. 300. So apa isu dia? Aspirin 300 untuk NS. Apa isu? Aspirin 300 mg for NS practice. You bagi cardipirin, boleh bagi neuroaxal block tak? Berapa dos limit dia? Baca tak dalam guideline? Neuroaxal blockade, aspirin. Uh, 150 tak apa lagi. Kalau 300 is contraindicated. You kena before. Biasa tak before kan? Cardipirin 150, bagi je spinal kan? Kalau 300, dalam guideline mention 300. So you kena tahu dos aspirin berapa yang you tak boleh bagi neuroaxial, epidural dengan spinal. Takut you tak tahu je kan? Harap doktor tu seorang je yang bagi aspirin 300. Tapi kalau ada aspirin, you kena tanya dos berapa. I punya I always ask kalau aspirin berapa dos. Sebab I tak nak 300. Lama dah I practice. Memang tak jumpa lagi 300. Last week I jumpa. So bila jumpa, kena careful lah. I takut you bagi spinal je, you tak tahu yang aspirin 300 tu. Okay? So this back to the fact, the factor that affect the drug absorption. Lagi? Ada lagi tak? Banyak lagi kan? Daniel? Lagi? Okay. Dah sama liver problem, renal problem, kan? Pharmacogenetic ada tak? Absorption. Ini. Okay. So basically banyaklah. So kalau you apply fit principle saja, fit principle tak cukup. Okay. Bila last kali keluar absorption? Tahun lepas. Tahu lagi. Tapi dalam Bible dia boleh tanya. Okay. Absorption. So ni nama apa dah? What is bioavailability? bioavailable. Be absorbed. Okay. Ni? Tir. Bioavailable. Okay. The oral. Right. Not only oral lah, kan? Transdermal. So, macam mana? Bioavailability? Bioavailable? Say again. Kenapa you mention oral? I tak mention oral. After? Kalau intravenous berapa bioavailability? 100 kan? So, kalau definition bioavailability per se? Right. After? After? After administration lah. Okay, tell me the routes of drug administration available. Oral? Transdermal? Rectal? Intravenous? Intrathecal? Subcutaneous? Vascular? Yes. Okay, lagi? Subdermal? Transdermal, okay. Okay. Kan? Mata banyak apa mata? Topical eye, intranasal, sublingual, oral. Ni? Telinga? Kan? So dia banyak administration site. Kalau you mention about bioavailability, it's a fraction of a drug that reach system circulation after administration. Kalau oral lah. Kan? Factor that affect the bioavailability of a drug. Kan? Kalau oral apa factor dia? Banyak lah. Daripada drug preparation, daripada apa? Preparation dia, daripada bowel dia, kan? Daripada metabolism dia. Kalau oral bioavailability is a drug that reach systemic circulation after first hepatic effect. Betul tak? Dia problem dia adalah hepatik. Bila dia boleh melepasi hepatik yang reach systemic circulation. Kalau morphine berapa? Bioavailability. Kuang? 30%. Penting tak dia tahu 30% bioavailability? So what is the importance of knowing bioavailability of morphine 30%? Example, is patient on PCA morphine, cancer lah, cancer pain management. PCA morphine patient consume 30 milligram over 24 hour. So how do you convert to oral? Times 3, so it become 90 milligram of 30 is IV, 90 is Oral. 90 is oral. Okay. So how you prescribe? By 4? Why 4? Morphine ke ID? Okay. What type of oral morphine you want to use? Syrup. Okay, syrup morphine. You want to change to syrup morphine. So, the dose of syrup morphine? Now 90 milligram oral. You want to change to syrup morphine. Itu lo. Nama apa dah? Dia, tolong dia. Now oral morphine 90 milligram. Want to change to syrup morphine. Berapa dos syrup morphine you nak prescribe patient ni? TDS. Hourly, Anybody disagree? Vishnu disagree. Tell your formula. Ini SBA, SBA. SBA ni kita bagi calculation. So that you understand or not the concept of bioavailability. Nampak mudah je kan? Tapi dalam exam, dia tak bagilah yang mudah-mudah kan. Define bioavailability. Tak ada lah macam tu. So SBA ni dia bagi senario. Clinical scenario, how you apply your basic knowledge in solving the problem. Jawab. Six, okay. 90 divided 18 mg for hourly. 90 bahagi 6 berapa? 15 for hourly. Okay. Why you give for hourly? Syrup morphine. Why? Okay. So any drug, you must know the onset and duration. Kan? Onset and duration. So the duration of a syrup morphine is 4 hourly. But it can go up to 3 hourly, 3 to 4 hour, the duration dia. But usually we use 4 hourly. 3 hourly tu bagi saya decide. Okay, 4 hourly. If you want to change to morphine SR, berapa? 45 BD. Can we give 45 BD morphine SR? Boleh tak? Can we give morphine SR 45 milligram BD? Can. How? Yalah orally lah. How you instruct the nurse to give 45 milligram morphine SR? Because per tablet 10 milligram. Mana boleh broken? You cannot broke. Never ever broke the drug that has been prepared. Okay, so you bagilah 40 BD. Kan? 40 BD. Boleh? That's why you must know the onset, duration, preparation. Okay, tramadol. Tramadol kan? Patient can take orally. Boleh tak bagi ikut rescue? Nama apa ni? Ya, go. Go you both You repeat ke you repeating? Both lah. Okay. So go. Not supposed to, but the nurse give rice tube. How you explain to the nurse or to the doctor in the ward? Can it be given a rice tube? Dia kerat, kan? And then dia ni tambah air. Can it or cannot? Tramadol. It's a common practice. Patient cannot take orally, so dia decide untuk break the tramadol capsule and give rice tube. Can or cannot? Cannot. Why? You must answer. You must tell your colleague. Side effect. Before side effect. Okay, so what happened? Onset is faster. Onset become faster, but the duration shorten. Why shorten? Okay. It's either the drug is been damaged by the acid or it is metabolized early. The purpose of creatine in a capsule so that the drug will be released slowly. Kan? So how do you prescribe tramadol? Usually BD or TDS. If BD 12 hour dia release. Kalau TDS 8 hour. If you take the powder, kan, give to rice tube, then maybe only 1 hour patient has a pain release. After that, severe pain. That's why the analgesic is not enough. It's not adequate for the patient. Okay, so in this patient, the rice tube, what is the analgesic drug that you can give for this patient? Apart from IV tramadol? TCN tu bukan opioid. Sirap morfin lah. Kan? Bagi sirap morfin. Tak payahlah you susah-susah nak pecahkan kapsul. Bagi sirap morfin. Kan? Usually this one occur on the cancer patient lah. Kan? Jangan kedekut lah, bagi sirap morfin. Kalau patient tadi 90 mg bahagi 6 jadi 15 kan? So berapa cc nak bagi? How many mil? Milligram? Dose 15 mg. How many mil? Solution preparation dia. Sirap morfin. Berapa? Kita agak tak tahu. Berapa miligram per mil? 2 miligram lah kan. So you bagi berapa mil? Boleh bagi 7.5 mil. Boleh bagi tak 7.5 mil? Boleh kan? Ni boleh sukat kan? Tablet je tak boleh sukat. Kalau volume, you boleh, that is the advantage of sirap morfin. Sirap because you can titrate per point, 1 decimal point. 0.5 ke full ke kan. Sometimes dalam wound care, dressing kan, dia boleh titrate. Today 5 mg 30 minutes before dressing. Sakit. Next day dressing, naiklah 6. Kan? And then tak cukup juga, naik 7. Kan? Bila you rasa macam takut, naiklah 7.5. 8, 8.5 kan? So you boleh titrate. Kalau sirap. Tablet payah. Oxynum dia ada 5. Kan? Oxynum dengan sirap morfin dia sama. Immediate release. Immediate onset. But the duration 4 hour. Sama. Cuma Oxinom dia ada tablet dia 5 mg, cannot break. Tapi kalau sirap dia boleh bagi 1 mg, 2 mg. So you can use syrup morphine for pediatric juga. Kan? Tak ada masalah. Alright. So faham the concept of bioavailability. Dalam SPA keluar.
Okay. Okay, so finish regarding bioavailability. Then
Kejap yang tadi.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you tengok bioavailability. IV 100. Next adalah apa ni? Dia ada satu graph you kena lukis. Draw me a graph to show a bioavailability of IV, IM, subcut, intranasal, sublingual. You kena lukis. Ada?
Comparing the each tu tak ada, saya just ada yang oral versus IV je.
Ni? Whole one? Lukis dah whole one? Lukis dah? So you must know which drug has more bioavailability. Yang ni dalam Viva. Viva lah. Kalau dalam SAQ payah nak suruh draw kan? Ke boleh SAQ boleh juga kan? Tapi tonggang langgang lah. Kita nak marker payah. Okay. Ada? SAQ. Okay. Yang tu? Oral. Selepas IV apa? Yang close to IV. IM kan? So IM tu bawah sikit daripada IV. Dia kena ambil macam ni juga. Semua kena lukis macam ni. Pergi tolong dia. Bangun. Badiah. Pergi. Pergi. Jangan tiru graf ni. Kalau you compare, you semua kena macam ni. Okay. You must remember graf. Graf dalam exam memang very important. Okay. Okay. Intranasal. Sublingual. Kan? Sublingual ni dalam apa? Heart attack kan? Sublingual mana cepat? Subcutaneous ke sublingual? Sublingual. So sehingga kena atas sikit lah. Kena atas pada subcut. Intranasal? Laju kan? Macam mana intranasal? Dia bagi kokain kan? Intranasal? Bawah sikit pada IM lah. Intranasal. Okay? Boleh So yang ni boleh keluar dalam Bible. Okay? Tapi dalam SAQ pernah tak SAQ tak boleh kot. Dalam Bible tanya. Okay, ni factor that affect absorption ni. Pharmaceutical, physical chemical lagi.
Pressure
Pressure
factor,
factor.
interaction and first pass metabolism.
Okay. So dia ada dalam bioavailability. Dan dia boleh tanya macam dulu kita tanya bioavailability direct. Factor that affect. Baru ni dia tanya dalam transdermal patch. So 2 kali keluar dalam masa 4 tahun. Okey. Absorption. Sama ada melalui absorption atau melalui bioavailability. Boleh? Ada nak tanya tak? You kena faham ADME, A ni adalah absorption. Lepas tu bioavailability. Konsep dia. So you kena tahu detail lah. Boleh? Yang tadi tu adalah transport mechanism ni. Transport ni farmako juga. Ke dalam fisio
Dalam sel ada
transport.
fisiologi.
Drug transport farmako lah. Cuba tengok balik. Ni pun keluar juga ni. Bila keluar? Keluar 2 tahun lepas Ke tahun lepas? Ni. Transport mechanism. Kena tahu.
Dah masuk
SAQ kan?
blood-brain barrier.
Okay. So yang ni kalau SBA payah sikit ni. Kalau SAQ dah keluar kan. Tak tahu lah, takut keluar balik. Okay, so dia tanya soalan dia adalah how drug being transport in the body. So dia fikir dia nak apa sebenarnya. Rupanya dia nak ni drug transport mechanism. Okay. Alright. Next, metabolism.
Next is distribution.
Distribution. Okay.
So distribution, basically the key concept here is to know the volume of distribution lah ni. So distribution ni is the extent of distribution into the extravascular compartment. So from this topic we can extrapolate into single compartment and multi compartment that we use in the TIBA. So basically distribution we can divide, that is drug that is a very extensive distribution and drug that is very low distribution, that's maybe only confined to plasma, such as warfarin, because it is too large to cross the endothelium, and muscle relaxant, although it can cross the plasma, but it is polar and bulky, so only a little bit can be distribute out of the plasma. And also we have a very hard, macam amiodarone is highly lipid soluble, so it can cross the plasma very easily. So distribution relies mainly due to the organ blood flow. So from this concept we can divide lah our organ in our body into the vessel rich group, vessel and vessel poor group. So volume of distribution is defined as the apparent volume into which drug would have to be dispersed to produce the observed concentration. So to make an analogy, so let's say we have 1 gram of the drug. If we insert into the 1 liter of the jug, so if we take the concentration in the jug, let's say the concentration in the fluid is 0.1 mg. So if we divide 0.1 mg by 1000 mg, so maybe the volume of distribution will be 100 liter of the volume distribution, which is of course exceed our total body water, which is only around 45 liter. But maybe if you take another at a different level of the fluid in the jug, maybe the concentration is more, like 10 mg. So maybe the volume of distribution at that part is is higher. So volume of distribution is maknanya dia nak kata is depend on the plasma concentration and also where we take the sample. If we take from the apa dah, in the plasma, maybe the drug is more. While if we take in the tissue, maybe the drug will be less. So the volume distribution, we can have a drug that has very small volume of distribution, which only localized in the plasma and extracellular fluid. Mainly, this drug is a highly polar and water soluble, so it cannot cross the plasma membrane easily, such as muscle relaxant, warfarin, and phenytoin. We also can have a volume distribution larger than total body water, so it means that it has a very extensive tissue penetration, like digoxin, fentanyl, and thiopentone.
Next,
So
next slide.
kompak.
Lagi. Okey, habis. Okay, so okay. Okay, Qayyum, define volume of distribution. What is volume of distribution? Tunjuklah jawapan tadi. Nak guna yang ni. What is volume of distribution? Okay, Badiu? Daniel? But you nak tulis ni dalam SAQ. Okay. And then the next question is describe the factors that affect VD, volume of distribution. Vishnu? Yeah. Okay. So dalam formula tu macam mana guna? P half kan? Boleh? So what is VD? Factor that affect VD. And then yang ketiga ni dia minta you apa? Formula. Kan? Maybe dia bagi senario ke SAQ. Bila keluar? VD? Lama dah? Lama dah? Okay. So,
April 2022.
Ha?
April 2022 ada.
Nombor dua.
Define volume of distribution. Briefly explain the physical-chemical factor that affect the distribution of drug with satu, low volume of distribution. Dua, high volume of distribution. Provide example for your explanation.
Lagi? Satu lagi?
Satu lagi, see how does obesity influence the pharmacokinetic of the anesthetic drug. Yang VD.
Same question.
Same question.
Same question.
Question satu.
So macam mana you approach? Kan? Define. Define ni dia banyak mazhab lah. Kan? Depend on textbook. Which textbook you use. Dia perkataan dia tak sama. Dia lain. Biasanya apparent volume, theoretical volume. Bolehlah kita bagilah markah kan. Okay. And then factor the affect the volume of distribution. Okay, get ready takut keluar tahun ni. Tak betting lagi. Tadi make sure. Tapi bila soalan dia pasal application memang challenging. How you think the obesity affect the volume of distribution? Tapi dia open kan, dia tak mention BD kan.
Yang C tu dia how does obesity influence the pharmacokinetic of the anesthetic drug?
Tu dia jadi macam kat mana you nak approach. Tapi at least dia cakap pharmacokinetic. Pharmacokinetic ada 4 je. So boleh jawab lah along the ADME. Dan saya ingat soalan ni ramai student score. Soalan nombor 1.
73% candidate pass this question.
Berapa? 73?
73.
Rasa susah kan? C tu kan? Tapi ramai patient score. Tapi soalan yang senang. Okay. Okay, so you kena ingat formula. Okay, tengok tunjuk formula. How derive?
Amount of drug in the body divide by drug in plasma.
Okay. Yang ni. Okay.
Dah masuk compartment.
Okay. Okay. Yang ni pun okay ni. Loading dose.
Loading dose is a concentration at time times the desired plasma concentration lah. The peak effect site concentration times apparent volume of distribution at the time of peak effect. Mana concentration versus times the volume of desired peak effect site concentration.
So you kena tahu daripada yang basic tadi, VD sama dengan apa dah? Tambah concentration, then dia jadi 0.6 0.3 T. 0.3 T half sama dengan 3 bahagi VD. Times VD divided by clearance. Dan clearance kat mana pula nak ambil? Sometimes soalan minta you clearance. Kan, determine the clearance of this drug. So, dia kena kait lah daripada sini. T half dia berapa, VD dia berapa. Okay, next.
So
Okay, yang tu dah tahu. Clearance sama dengan CO elimination tu. Ni mana pula? You tanya punya senior lah. Okay. Lagi?
And
compartment model
ada in the two compartment model basically because we have selain daripada central we have peripheral compartment. So because of the distribution of drug from central to peripheral, so we have a rapid distribution phase. Mana half-life we can divide into 2 based on that slope, alpha slope and beta slope. So because we have a rapid distribution phase and also slow elimination phase from the peripheral back to the central compartment to be eliminated. And then if we add another compartment, maknanya from central to the vessel rich group and also vessel poor group, we have 3 compartments. So from here, we can have rapid distribution, slow elimination, and also terminal half-life. I think we can discuss more on this topic in a TIVA session next week.
TIVA TCI they use a lot of multi-compartment model. Okay.
So ni just nak explain why infusion pharmacokinetic is used, why we did not give just a bolus, let's say propofol 200 mils, because we want to know what is the ideal loading dose and also what is the maintenance dose. So that is, we want to achieve the hemodynamic stability. We can know the onset and the offset of the drug, and also decrease the incidence of the side effect. So because we know the loading dose, because we can achieve the rapid effect site by administer the exact loading dose lah, the bolus of the drug, and then after that we maintain the dose based on the this formula lah, maintenance dose to clearance time, the concentration of the drug at the steady state. And then after a while, after the drug have reached the steady state, then we can know the contact sensitive half time. So certain drug have a higher CSHT, while the other drug is have a lower CSHT, and also some drug have a contact insensitive, such as remifentanil.
Okay. Okay, Nadia, what is contact sensitive half time? To reduce to? Okay. So draw. Okay, draw a graph. So which, tak apa. So biasanya dia akan suruh draw lah. Okay. So draw a graph to show that the remifentanil propofol kan. Dia lagi tak drug lain yang good contact sensitive half time. So bagi apa? TCI propofol, TCI remi. TCI lain tak ada. Dua tu je. Okay. Biasa dua ni je kan? Propofol dengan remi. Because so apa advantage of drug with contact sensitive half time? Predictable lah kan. You can predict the offset dia. Okay. Beres. AD, distribution. Okay, distribution. Mudah tak keluar. So, boleh prepare untuk write a long essay within a period of time. Jangan makan masa orang lain. Okay. Ada 20 minit je untuk soalan tu. Okay. 20 minit, 10 markah, at least 20 poin. Tengoklah poin kat mana. Beres, ada nak tanya? AD, absorption, distribution. Nanti dia akan masuk metabolism banyak. Banyak benda yang kita tahu. Lepas tu elimination, okey lah. Tapi dia complicated sikit. Tengok formula tadi kan. How eliminate clearance lebih kurang je. Okay, how you nak derive the formula of clearance. Using the VD apa semua tu. Soalan nombor 1 Kalau SAQ nombor 1, basic. PK OPD. Itulah mana. Kan? Sama ada pharmacokinetic atau pharmacodynamic. Kalau SAQ pun sama. Di soalan nombor 1, nombor 2, nombor 3, nombor 4. PKPD. SAQ. Viva pun sama. First dia akan tanya PK OPD. Kat sini kalau you start, kan, Viva contohnya, you start kan, you akan rasa less confident. Sebab you rasa soalan tu basic tapi tak boleh jawab. Sedangkan soalan seterusnya, soalan nombor 2 tu, contohnya master exam, mudah je. Tapi bila you dah demoralize, you know how you feel lah. Kan? So you kena strong dalam PKPD. Okay? Buka-buka SAQ, soalan nombor 1, Allah. Pening lah. Kalau nombor 1 you rasa macam payah lah. Nombor 1 ni, at least kita tahu, oh ni, ditulis. Then dia pergi soalan nombor 2. Sama ada inhalational ataupun IV induction. Tiada order dia buat soalan. Dan dia boleh agak lah. Kalau IV induction, macam mana keluar. Kalau IV inhalation, macam mana dia keluar. Kan? Benda teori is a theory je. Itu je knowledge dia. Kan? Cuma macam mana dia being asked in the SAQ. Boleh? So you all free ke hari ni? Oh macam tu lah. Apalah tadi ya. So hari Selasa? 2 orang je? 4? Natasha tak? Oh IPS. Oh, banyak injection lagi ni. Bening saya. Okay. Tapi ada approach ke specialist mana untuk ni? So 11. So you ni tak ada? Yang call. So siapa yang free boleh join lah. Okay, Perez, thank you.